Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Shasa, and today I have prepared another fragrance review. And I'm very excited to be revisiting one of my favorite niche fragrance houses, Maison de Edo. We've covered a number of the fragrances from this house before, including Canon and Macanudo. And today we're actually going to be looking at their newest fragrance named Noisette. And I'm very excited about this scent. You know, Maison de Edo has become one of my favorite niche houses. I just think it's such an interesting line, and the founder, Brianna Lipovsky, she's a competitive equestrian, but she has also worked in the beauty and kind of just like the luxury sector as a whole. And if you want a little bit more on her background, you know, I would definitely check out one of my other videos. I think in either Macanudo or Canon, I elaborate a little bit more about Brianna, but she has this savvy about the luxury industry, and she's created this beautiful line of fragrances that are inspired by horses and her passion for scent. And this one, Noisette, is to me just one of the most, amazing scents from the collection. I really, really love this one. I've already applied a little bit on my skin, but I'm gonna spray a little bit more. And Maison de Edo, you know, I love the name too, the brand, you know, Maison de Edo. She says that it was kind of this conjunction of words, you know, putting the words motto and ethics together. And then she also says that Edo stands for each to their own. So her fragrances are all about celebrating, you know, perfumery by really incorporating some of the best talents and definitely some of the most innovative concepts into the process of how she makes fragrances. And there's just something that is really unique about each composition within the line. Noisette in particular, she said, was really supposed to be inspired by this moment of peaceful inquisition and really this kind of reflection on oneself, and also this celebration of one's individuality. And she said that after coming out of the pandemic, you know, obviously 2020 was such a rough year for everyone, she really wanted to create a fragrance that had this feeling of being reassuring and grounding and empowering at the same time. And I really feel like Noisette does capture that. There's something about this fragrance that, to me, is kind of emotional, in a way that's almost sentimental, and definitely has this kind of grounding and reassuring nuance to it for sure. And maybe you'll understand that as I get into some of the notes. So this fragrance features on the top notes of French lavender. We also have orris concrete. The heart notes are ambrette or muskmallow. And we also have lavandin absolute. And then the base is comprised of white amber. And I will say, upon first initial impression with this scent, you know, it does open with these very soft kind of radiating pulses of orris. Orris is actually the essence that comes from iris. So it has a very smooth, pale, almost slightly iridescent or powdery texture to it. I love iris in a perfume. And there's also a touch of French lavender. And French lavender has a sweet but kind of delicate light floral scent to it. And then getting into the heart of the fragrance, we actually see lavandin absolute. And lavandin absolute is a really interesting raw material. It's actually the byproduct of two different species of lavender. So it's considered to be a hybrid species of lavender. Some people say it's like considered to not necessarily be like a true lavender, but definitely does capture this kind of essence of lavender in a really special way. And if I had to really compare the lavender or the French lavender on the top note against, you know, the lavandin in the heart of the fragrance, the difference really is that traditional, you know, French lavender does have a sweet kind of light floral texture to it. And then lavandin, this hybrid lavender, that is a cross between English lavender and then spike lavender, which is sometimes referred to as a Portuguese lavender. Comparatively, it has a more herbaceous, a more bold kind of lavender smell associated with it. So I kind of like the fact that with this scent, you get both of those contrasting elements in one composition, both the French lavender and then the lavandin absolute. And then as this fragrance begins to wear even longer on the skin, you'll notice that white amber appears, and it has a very smooth, kind of warm, velvety texture that really just wraps onto the skin so nicely, like a warm cashmere blanket. It's lovely. And this particular fragrance, I think is also really interesting to highlight the family in which it falls under, and that is considered to be fougere. And fougere fragrances are fragrances, really, when you look at the translation of fougere, it means fern-like in French. And these fragrances usually have a kind of sharp, woody, kind of citrusy texture and smell to them traditionally. And fougeres for many, many decades, years, even going back, a very, very long time, maybe even like, centuries, I would say. Fougeres were really kind of considered to be traditionally more of a masculine fragrance prototype, or kind of archetype, I guess you could say. And the kind of contrasting element to them would be chypres, which are considered to be traditionally a feminine fragrance family, or kind of fragrance structures, but that's for another video. I don't want to bore you guys with, the perfume lingo, but I do like this fragrance because it does kind of follow the structure of a fougere, but in its own unique way. Fougeres usually open with a citrus top note like bergamot. The heart of the scent usually features some type of floral. In this case, that would be like the lavandin absolute, or even the orris. And then the base is comprised of a, usually something that is a little bit warmer or more earthy, like oak moss. In the case of this scent, it's amber, white amber. And as this fragrance begins to wear, you also will realize that more of the ambrette really starts to pop out. And I like ambrette. Ambrette has a slightly kind of nutty texture associated with it, and it comes from muskmallow, which is a native plant to Australia and Asia. And it has a sweetness, a nuttiness to it, and almost something that is a little bit winey as well. I love this scent. I'm just rambling at this point, but this fragrance does have so many facets. And Noisette, the way that she kind of describes the wear of this scent too is, she says it's subtle but strong. It's soft but unwavering. It's really kind of interesting to describe it that way. It's quiet but confident. She also describes it as that. And I definitely get that vibe and that connotation from this scent. It's not a loud fragrance. It's not a super bold scent, but it does stay with you, and it lingers for a long time on the skin. I would say this fragrance does stay with you all day. The richness of the lavandin absolute, and even the amber, and definitely the ambrette as well. Those notes just really sit on the skin, and I mean, it's an all-day wear, but it's one that stays close to the individual. It stays close to the body, and while people will notice this scent and they will comment on it, I feel like this is almost one of those scents that you wear for yourself. There's something about it that, again, is very calming. It's grounding. It's reassuring, and lavender, of course, has that connotation from an aromatherapy standpoint, but she really captured what she was trying to achieve with this scent, which, again, was this moment of peaceful inquisition, this kind of moment of reflection and celebration of individuality, and kind of this light coming out of the dark as we transition away from the pandemic and into, a new era. So that is Noisette by Maison de Edo. And I didn't even show the bottle, but this is a bottle of another fragrance from the collection called Macanudo. I don't actually have the full bottle of Noisette, but her bottles are just stunning, and I definitely wanted to show you guys this as well. Love, love, love the kind of sculptural element behind the bottle. And this green cap is amazing. I mean, she's done such a great job with the packaging. Yeah, that's Noisette, you guys. This fragrance retails for $300, I believe. And it's available at the Conservatory, which is the gallery that I work at. So please, you guys, if you have any comments or questions, leave them below. And If you've tried this fragrance, I'd love to know your take on it. Do you have a favorite lavender fragrance? Are you a lavender fragrance person? Any questions or comments, please put them below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much, and bye-bye.